This meeting is being recorded.
Hello, this is Sunil Sunder Raj with Jersey Sporting News. Tonight, I am happy to be speaking with the Gemma siblings, Lili, Matt, and Abby. All three of them play sports. Lili plays soccer, then switched recently to women's rugby. Matt is a football player, and Abby is a soccer player, and they are from Flemington, New Jersey. Guys, thanks again, for the opportunity. It's great to be speaking with you, and congratulations on your success.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, let's see that we'll start with the oldest, with Abby. It said you played soccer in the Players Development Academy from age 9 to 18, attended and graduated from Huntington Central Regional High School, and played soccer. You are currently attending the United States Naval Academy, a sophomore there. As said, played women's soccer, but recently switched to women's rugby this fall. Academically, you're majoring in English with a German minor. I mean, that is just absolutely tremendous. Being able to represent your country, Abby. As said, can you talk about your not only your athletic career, but of course now here academically as well, what you've been able to do with the United States Navy here?
Oh yeah, it's been awesome. I mean, just the people you meet everybody who wants to just achieve all that they can. I mean, our school is mostly for engineering majors, so even my roommates too, seeing how much work they put in, it just makes you want to work so much harder.
Yeah, definitely. You started young in terms of playing sports, with soccer at the age of 9. Were there any other sports growing up? And then when you made that pivot to soccer, again, playing for the Players Development Academy, just talk about, that time, Abby.
This is Abby.
I'm like, sorry.
We get that a lot. I played basketball growing up, a little bit of lacrosse, but
Okay.
Soccer stuck for a while, and then got to college, and I was like, I want to try something new. So women's rugby, and the team is doing really well, and it's been awesome so far. I love it.
That's great. Just talk about in terms of how much, sports, there's so much that goes into it in terms of strength and conditioning, nutrition, restaurant recovery. There's a lot, it takes a serious commitment. I wanted to ask you during this journey, what has that been for you? I said, especially when you played soccer, but now with rugby, I mean, those are physical sports, but just talk about that year round. It's 24/7, 365 here.
Oh yeah, 100%. I remember growing up, everyone would be like, so what do you do every day? And I'm just like, soccer and school. That's all I have time. Leave school, go to soccer, come back at 10 o'clock at night, and then it's just homework time. You got to keep those grades up because colleges and everything, you're constantly working, but it's all worth it.
Yeah, that's what I was saying, that everybody says, okay, you're an athlete, but you're a student athlete. And that takes a lot of time management, organization, to balance that out, between practices, and then you have the games itself, travel. I'm wondering how you've been able to, do that so effectively.
I think just definitely compartmentalizing, and you're just surrounded with people who always want to work hard no matter what. Like growing up playing club soccer, you're with people who are committed to go to other great schools too, and just seeing everybody's drive around you just makes you all want to work harder.
Hey, you know how competitive it is out there, in terms of playing athletics. I said you got to probably know that from early on. So I'm wondering, like, just in terms of matching up against the best talent out there and then being able to rise above that and excel. I had to ask you about that as well, Abby.
Oh yeah, it definitely teaches resiliency, because not only are you representing your town, your family, and then when you leave too, when you go out to college, they're going to be like, where are you from? Like, what school do you play for? And you want to make everybody proud.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Okay, next up, we have the middle sibling, Matt. A 4-year starter, football starter at Delbarton School in Morristown, team captain, the first United States Military Academy football commit in your class, U.S. Army Bowl All-American. And this is just, I think, the most inspiring thing. You had surgery back on September 21st, and 50 days later, you were playing in the state playoffs. A 3-star football recruit, ranked 23rd out of the top 25 in this state. Absolutely, just, again, amazing accomplishments, Matt. when you look back, especially your time at Delbarton, I'm wondering what comes to your mind first and foremost.
Well, I started all 4 years. Probably early in my career was the most important. When I was a freshman on varsity, got to meet a bunch of great leaders and great people who really looked out for me and I looked up to. And they pretty much just molded me into the person I am today. Those senior captains are really influential on like the younger kids on the team. So I kind of just envisioned myself as them and just rose to the occasion.
Yeah, no, definitely. I don't want to forget also, Matt, first team, I said your junior year. I mean, that again, talk about that, from going from your junior year where you had, said a lot of success and then being able to continue that into your senior year. That had to mean a lot to you in terms of just, progressing and just, again, just seeing your hard work really pay off on the field.
Oh, yeah, no, it was awesome. I mean, freshman year, I played tight end. Then sophomore year, I switched over to the other side of the line. I played defensive end. It was definitely a big change. So I didn't really know what I was doing sophomore year. I was just out there running around, getting sacks. And then that offseason, I really took it seriously. Junior year, I had a heck of a year. I really showed up when I needed to, and I got first team all non-public, which I'm just very proud to have. And I wanted to transition that into my senior year. However, I got hurt early, but I was able to make it back.
I mean, that's just the incredible amount. I was thinking about the pain threshold, that you had, it said, coming back 50 days later, from an injury, having surgery, and then be able to take that field again, to put on that jersey, that helmet. I'm sure that carried a lot of significance, a lot of meaning for you, Matt.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. It was probably a big moment in my life. I love all my teammates, and I really wanted to get back out there and play with them and finish in my cleats rather than on the bench.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think, they always talk about football being, that brotherhood, said with, it's just not on the field, but it's off the field. And these are relationships that will carry on for the rest of your life. Just talk about that as well. And the relationship you had with your coaching staff as well.
My coaches had full confidence in me. They really let me do what I wanted to. They encouraged me to get back on the field. And at Delbarton, we have a saying that we're a brotherhood. We're an all guys Catholic school. And when it was time for me to choose a college, I wanted to choose a school that could also replicate that at the college level. At Army, they call themselves the Brotherhood of the Black Flag, and I really feel like all those men and players are what I want to be and what I want to continue doing.
Yeah, no, that's wonderful to hear. And, as I was asking Abby about, being a student athlete, you've definitely been able to flourish in the classroom, 3.5 GPA, continue to study defensive strategic studies at West Point. Just talk about that. Again, it's just to see, again, that dedication, that work ethic that you've been able to, perform at the highest level here.
It's definitely really hard at Delbarton to get a really great GPA. It's a very hard school. I've done well. I got a 3.5. And I chose like my career path, or what I hope my career path will be, defensive strategic studies. Because actually my senior captain, my freshman year, he's at West Point right now playing rugby. And he chose the same major, defensive strategic studies. And I really look up to him still. And he's been telling me all about the course. And it's definitely something I want to do.
I mean, again, I have to ask this question, being able to, represent your country, represent the United States of America. I mean, that carries a lot of honor, I said, and it's very prestigious. I'm wondering, just when I'm sure you had some time to sit back and really reflect and think about that. I'm just wondering, what really, hits you first, when you think about that, Matt.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. I had a lot of different college opportunities to go to schools, not an academy. But like looking up to my older sister, all the opportunities she has being at an academy is something I want to do. And I realized like through my recruitment that I wanted to be at an academy. So she was one of my biggest deciding factors, and she also supported going to Army even though she's at Navy.
Okay, that's great. Hey, I have to ask you, we all know that again how stressful, sports is and then academics as well. So you need to kick back, de-stress, decompress. So I know, Matt, you're able to provide some of your hobbies or fishing, video games, hanging out with friends, and training and lifting. So I'm wondering what those moments are like where you can actually, to just breathe and, just, clear your head and, be able to focus on something else. Talk about those times.
I mean, I always go fishing with my dad. I've done it ever since I was little. It's kind of a time for me to just relax and just be with my dad, be present in the moment. I mean, I always just hang out with my friends just as a cooling down method because of everything that's moving around in life.
That's true. Okay. I hope, I said with the, the introduction, who, in terms of, did I get with Lili or Abby? Like,
this is Lili.
Abby. Okay. So we're going to last with Abby. So Abby, the youngest sibling, it said graduating high school in 2024, also grew up playing for the Player Development Academy, and now at IMG Academy in Florida. And you've been there since 2020, captain of the U17 girls elite team, a top 20 player in the country for the class of 2024 in girls soccer, ranked the 4th best defender in the country for the class of 2024, and committed to Notre Dame on October 10th, 2022. Congratulations, Abby. Can you talk about, again, being able to just absolutely dominate, I mean, in terms of, on the field in soccer and here committing to Notre Dame? Just talk about these last couple of years, what they've meant to you.
Yeah, no, they've been crazy, especially moving away and going to Florida. So kind of taking that step, almost going to college 4 years earlier than what you expect. But no, it's been great. It's kind of given me the opportunity to kind of improve like myself, my game, even away from like my family and having that influence of my parents. And obviously their support I still get, whether I'm here or I'm in Florida. But no, I think my commitment to Notre Dame was really exciting because Notre Dame has really like everything I'm looking for in a school: great academics, great soccer. It's got, and it includes my faith as well, which is something really important to, I think, all of us and all of our family. And another goal of mine has always been playing for that women's national team, which was kind of out of the picture this past couple months, just because I'm getting back from surgery for my ankle as well.
Okay.
But their thing is serving I would love to, represent our country on the field for Team USA one day too. So that's my goal.
That's fantastic. Just talk about that. It's not easy. Again, definitely Matt can attest that with surgery that there's so much that goes into that, and then you have the, recovery phase, rehab. I mean that there's just, I mean, to get back to where you were before, that's a tall order. That's a ladder to climb. What just let people know how tough that was and just, coming back from that.
Yeah, no, I think the toughest part is honestly the mental aspect of kind of making sure you're taking the right steps, and then you don't want to push yourself back out there too quickly, because that's kind of how my injury built up, because I was overtraining and just constant pain through my ankle ended up leading to surgery. So I was not making that same mistake getting back out on the field. But, having that support from my team in Florida and my teammates all around the country, and then the people in my family here, I kind of stayed home for a little while and just rehabbed here as well to kind of get myself back on my own feet. And from now on, it's just been that battle to get back out on the field as my 100% and staying positive. So,
it's great attitude to have. And I like this, that, you get to share that with your sister, that you guys both played for the Player Development Academy. I mean, I want to ask both of you about that, since you had that in common, like, I'm sure there's a lot you could bounce off in terms of like, ideas and just the experience of playing for that, academy. Just talk about that.
Well, it's really funny because when we were little, Abby, we never thought she'd play soccer in her life. She wanted to wear tutus every day. We thought she was going to be the ballerina. So she would practices at PDA, and she'd be like, I want to try that. My mom was like, are you sure about that? And it was history. She loved it. Just being able to drive with your sister to practice every day. And then I know she'd stay before to watch me play, and then I'd have to stay after and watch her. And it's just really cool to see how she was able to grow and get better. And it's just a lot of fun seeing her play now, and she isn't that little baby anymore. Yeah. Honestly, I feel like kind of some of the best times growing up was I obviously had the advantage of having an older sister in the program as well. So kind of being there for earlier time frames, I get to even hop in a couple times and train with her team as well, which was really great and beneficial for my own development. But getting to compete against each other was always something fun because, sisters going head to head, you always want to go 110% against each other. And push each other because we both want the best for each other. So it was always great growing up with having each other, being able to be like, hey, let's go get a ball and go to the field, or let's go to the turf. Let's go get some shots in, do our fitness tests together. It's just great because we're always pushing each other. Now that she's playing rugby, we still work together and still do all of our fitness, and she can still hop in and play soccer with me whenever. So it's great.
That's terrific. I wanted, from an athlete's perspective for all three of you, before you take the field, I asked athletes, what any pregame, rituals or superstitions that before you take that field, because you talked about it, the mental aspect of it. I think that's really critical. I think a lot of people, that's underscored, in terms of, because I think if you need the physical, say, capabilities, but if you're not, mentally in tune, it's just, it doesn't work. So I'm wondering from all three of you, what you've been able to do, said, high school into college. But just what has worked for you guys?
You go ahead.
You go first? Yeah, sure. I'll start.
He probably has some weird, wacky ones. At this point.
Obviously, as a football player, one of our captains gives a pregame speech, and that really hypes everyone up. And even before pregame, we play music in the locker room, and we all get locked in and ready. And it's that football locker room mentality, really, for me. I dabble in listening to some classical music too, just to calm me down before. But that's cool.
I didn't really have anything huge. I'm a pretty goofy person, so I kind of just go with the flow for the game. But I always put my left one on before my right, and then I know when I'm putting my cleats on, it's time to get serious. Yeah, no, for me, I feel like I'm a little different than you guys, I guess, because I just kind of, for me, I have to really lock in, and I kind of focus, and I honestly picture I heard this when I was younger, and ever since I do it before every game, every bus ride, pre-game locker room, you kind of just put your AirPods in, close your eyes, and you kind of picture yourself on that field playing before that game starts. And personally, it helps me because you kind of see yourself in certain movements and try to replicate that on the field when you get back out there. So. That's
right. I'm wondering and then this is, just to add an extra layer to it, when you guys are out on the field, and from a athlete's perspective, when you're out there in the heat of the moment, the flow of the game, I'm wondering what's going through your guys' minds, because it's so interesting to see, I asked them, okay, you're on the bench, but when you're actually on the field, what is transpiring? What is, I don't think people ask that enough, but I'm just curious about that. What are those? I'm sure there's something that definitely stands out, for all three of you.
Yeah, my mentality is to win. So whether we're down, whether we're down 2-0 with 2 minutes left to go, I'm always in the mindset that there's still a way into this game. There's still a way to win. So just having that mentality, even if we're up 3-0, how can we get our next goal? So that's me.
And for me, my coach always yells at our defensive line, tells us to don't think. So there's not a lot going on up there. Just you keep your emotions cool. You kind of just daze out and live in the moment, really.
Yeah. Well, all three of us, since we play team sports, I just go on with the mentality everybody's in this together. We're all gonna make mistakes, but you just gotta work as hard as you can because the person next to you is doing the same thing.
I agree. It's I'm just wondering for you, just in terms of the fundamentals and skills, I asked this probably before, but just keeping them sharp, because this, you have the team activities, but I'm wondering on a personal basis, what you guys have been able to incorporate. What is because obviously you have, the right balance, you have the right mixture there. Just what is it about that? Because again, just for you guys to do it day after day, it's repetition. It's, that's a thing. You have to have that regimen in place. I'm wondering, for you guys, what you've been able to do again. And, once again, just the fact that you've been able to accomplish so much here.
I mean, I think it really all started from our parents. Ever since a
Yeah.
young age, they always bring us to the track, tell us to kick around the soccer ball or throw the football.
Had us doing
Um,
sprints on the side yard since
yeah.
we were growing up.
Yeah, no, both of our parents are
Yeah.
Jersey people. I mean, our dad played football at Wayne Hills under Coach Olson. He played
Yeah.
football at Princeton. Our mom also was at Wayne Hills. She was all state and three sports in high school: soccer,
Wow.
track, and skiing. So they're both very active people, and they kind of us. Really, they've always been big on competition. So we've always competed against each other, no matter what it is. Eating breakfast, fastest. So I think we've like ever since a young age, we've always had that like sports mentality
Yeah.
of just wanting to win.
And then the consistency wise, I think that comes with that mindset, but also like it's so hard to have consistency when you're doing like it's this, you wake up and it's the same day over and over. Like we have a variety, we have each other, which is great, but you also have that variety of like training aspects. New Jersey honestly gives us that great edge of like kind of having multiple different places to go to train to. So whether that's team training, whether that's taking yourself to the gym, or whether that's going and finding like our personal training place or personal trainer or doing anything
Yeah.
like that to help us improve or take that next step to try and keep an edge or something or over ourselves. So
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. The advances in technology in medicine are, I mean, it's just, it's mind-boggling, like how much it's just, again, every single day, month, year. I mean, and then the fact that, you're right. I mean, you're able to, again, utilize that and benefit from that. And then, you have the right trainers in place, and then, you're able to use all the equipment, available, and again, you see the results, I said, steadily increase every year after year. Hey, just have a couple more left, guys. I just was wondering, we all live in a day of social media. So I'm wondering, like, in terms of, tapping into that, like, I mean, a lot of people post their highlights, whether it's training, whether it's game footage. I'm wondering, like, for you guys, like how you've been able to incorporate that, because I know a lot of athletes out there do that, Jersey, across the country as well. But I'm wondering if they're just how, again, you've been able to, use that to your own advantage as well.
yeah, I mean, we use a lot of huddle and all those things just for the recruiting process where if coaches couldn't make it to your games, you could email them your highlights or even your full game film. And then they'd just be able to give you feedback based off of that. And then now, I mean, if you want to talk about like more like national stuff afterwards, like still scouts and everything, doesn't matter your age, everyone will still be willing to look at your film. Yeah. And I think Twitter is a huge platform now that has been great, like, especially not as much as you're recruiting in high school, but I think it's stepped up in the last couple of years as being a really huge platform for a lot of like student athletes nowadays as well. Just like kind of getting those highlights out there and having those, like Matt said earlier, having those communities, your teammates, other people that may have been recruiting by other coaches now helping you and promoting you and helping kind of repost your tweets, you could say, is helpful. Shows a lot more eyes you could see, and a lot more other people will interact with that. So
and Twitter is huge in the football recruiting world. If you want to play really any division of football in college, you have to have a Twitter, because that's the way they really reach out to you. It's not where they just show up to your school and talk to you. They have to be able to follow you and look at all your stuff on Twitter. So
I know a lot of people had posted about the U.S. Army Bowl. I wanted to ask you about that. That, being an All-American, I mean, name to that, Matt. That was, I mean, that just, that's one of the biggest, sort of, the bowl games out there, especially for high school athletes. Talk about what that meant to you, to be a part of that.
I mean, it meant a lot to me. Going to West Point and being in the U.S. Army Bowl, I was able to meet a bunch of great people. Bunch of great soldiers down in Texas. It was also really cool because they came to my school, gave me my jersey presentation in front of my entire school. I had to give a little bit of speech. I think I botched that a little bit, but it was a really cool experience. I played against the best all across the country. I played against a Notre Dame, Arkansas, and Alabama commit all game. It was good. I had a sack and like 6 tackles, but it's rough still recovering from my surgery. but I was able to go out there and compete. So it was a really fun experience.
That's terrific. One thing I wanted to bring in, we're still in the midst of it. It's really, I mean, COVID, I said really did a number, in terms of, with high school, college, a couple of years ago, still kids are still in the, trying to figure out, how, I mean, the kids getting that extra year eligibility. I'm wondering how that just dealing with that coping. I mean, we go back to that mental health, subject, but for all three of you, what were those times like for you guys?
I mean, I think we were lucky having each other because it just, like you said, goes back to that mental thing and having that drive, because I'd wake up some days and be like, I really just don't want to do anything. But then one of them would go for a run or go start lifting. I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to pick up my slack and do something too. Having not just that competition, but that motivation from them, like, was really helpful.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I know Lily was being a little humble there. I would wake up every morning to Lily, like, putting on her shoes, getting ready to run. I'm like, man, I just woke up. Like, I have to do something now. But it was honestly, for me, it was a time of reflecting. I was able to realize what sport I wanted to play in college. It's where I solely focused on football more than lacrosse. I played lacrosse 2 years at Delbarton.
Okay.
Sophomore year, I was hurt. Freshman year was COVID. So I really started to focus more on football more intensely. And I would always go to the track and to the field with either my siblings or my friends. And we just put in the work.
Yeah. And then from a mental standpoint, I think it was also really good having each other, because I feel like at a certain points during those COVID times, it was kind of like, what else do we have to do other than work out? Yeah. So it was like having each other to just be able to say, hey, let's get in the car and go for a drive, or let's go for a hike, or just being able to kind of like lean to someone, especially because it was very risky, I guess, if we were involved in a sport that was still attempting to like play through this. Interacting with people outside your family was difficult, you could say. So kind of just having each other and being there for each other was fun.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, a lot of families couldn't get together, couldn't see extended family. It was very difficult. And once we started getting back to normal, I wanted to just be able to breathe again and, get out there. What were those? I mean, that had to feel just awesome. Just being able to, get back to your passions, being able to play sports. That must have been a weight off your shoulders for all three of you.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It was definitely a weight off my shoulders. And then we got there and we got our butts kicked all over again at practice. So we were like, oh my gosh.
No more social distancing at practice. So that was
no remote learning.
Yeah.
That's true. I'm wondering, you guys, I mean, the years have zipped by for all three of you. I'm wondering, when you think back, talk about your younger days growing up, and now here you are, I said, at this stage of your life. I'm wondering, again, what comes to your mind when you think back, to those memories, and just you're building more and more now as you progress. But just talk about that, because especially with family as well. You talked about your parents. I mean, excellent role models, especially again, both, playing sports, coaching. Just what is it about that? Just talk about those times, and just again, how the years, just every year you get to celebrate, something new.
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, we still watch these family videos when we were little growing up, and we're just grateful that our parents just kind of instill the values of family, faith, and your country. So, I mean, that's just kind of been our roots our whole life. And I get to spend every day with my best friend, so I couldn't be any luckier.
Yeah, growing up was always fun with them. I liked kind of developing that competitive mindset, especially because she was like she said before, growing up, I was like the ballerina, the one who wore a dress, and just all that type of stuff. Growing up around each other kind of influenced, I think, how we play now on the field and how we kind of play through our sports. So it's been great. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm very proud of my sisters. I mean, we've come a long way, but we still have a long way to go, I think.
Yeah.
So it's
I almost skipped over this, but especially when you guys were in high school, the administration and athletic departments play a pivotal role in terms of a team success. I'm wondering, when you guys were, said in school, what has that been for you? Because you need that backing, I said, and they do so much behind the scenes work to help, the teams out. I'm wondering what that was really, just to have that in place, because again, I go back to structure and, just that's got to again play a critical role in terms of with the teams. But just talk about that as well.
Oh yeah, no. At Delbarton, I talk about the brotherhood again.
Yeah.
All of our alumni come back and support us, and our
Mhm.
school really it supports our football team. We have a giant homecoming every year, and they give us stuff in the boosters, which is just awesome. And they're the people we fall back on because they really help us a lot.
100 Central, we've just been always
Yeah.
think we're just lucky to have a lot of great athletes and stuff come to our school. We're a pretty big school, and our coach in high school, Janine Calhoun, she coached college before us, so she was able to bring that whole background in. And I was also really lucky to play with some other great players who had played club soccer with too. So we had a lot of talent, a great coach, and we were just able to kind of just funnel that together and make something special happen.
Yeah, and then for me, obviously being in Florida, it's been really great kind of having like everyone coming from different places. There's girls from all over on my team. And then my coach is an international, he's from Colombia. So kind of having like that international experience with my coaches and kind of like even interaction with those other sports. I've gotten the opportunity to train with some of the track coaches who have been in the Olympics. So kind of getting like that influence of and taste of like a little bit of everything down there has been great too. So. Hey,
it's a couple of popped into my head and my questions. I mean, I originally had like my blueprint, but now like as we're going on, I have a couple more, but representing the Garden State, representing New Jersey, you know, proudly, like, you know, the fact that how high school sports is on the map, you know, even college as well. I mean, it's so great to see. I mean, before we came on the air, those state championship games at MetLife at SHI Stadium on the campus of Rutgers University for high school football are just okay, unbelievable. I mean, it's just some of the best experiences, you know, as far as my coverage. What does it mean, like, you know, just to see New Jersey, how far we've come, you know, is said in terms of athletics, both on the high school and college level?
I think it's been great, honestly. Like even being down in Florida on campus, like I'm sitting there in the athletic training room, and the athletic trainers and I'm sitting there and some of my my schoolmates and classmates are talking, and they're like, "Wow, New Jersey's been killing it for football," or "New Jersey's doing great in this and that." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's where I'm from. That's great." Like, it's great to hear kind of like how well New Jersey is doing and how well the athletics are kind of improving and getting better each year. You hear about it, whether you're in Florida or you're in New Jersey. So it's great. Yeah.
My junior year at Central, we won the state championship Group 4, and we played at Keene, and it was awesome to see, especially for women's games, the amount of people who came to our game just from years before. It was crazy. It was really supportive, and the environment was really awesome for growing.
Yeah, no, it's great. I think we're definitely starting to get the respect we deserve. Going down to the U.S. Army Bowl. I talked from Arizona and Bergen Catholic, our rival, went down to Arizona at the beginning of the year and kicked the butt or kicked the crap out of one of the people. So I mean, I think we're definitely on the rise, especially in football. It's great that our state's starting to finally get to that next level.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, when I think of it, was it 2-3 years ago? I interviewed Audric Estime from St. Joe's, and to see this guy on national TV, you know, the running back for the University of Notre Dame, Fighting Irish, it just, you're like, wow, like, you know, I look back on that video and I'm like, to see him now at the next level, it's truly, you know, humbling, and it's inspiring, you know, to see him, you know, again, being able to thrive in that, you know, that circle there. Hey, for Lili and Abby, this question is for you. Is with women in sports. I think it's an important topic. I think, you know, that, and it's been addressed, and I'm wondering for you guys, you know, said just to be able to represent as well, and, you know, to see, again, I think it goes back to social media is playing a part of it too, you know, placing an emphasis on it, on the topic. What is it about it? Like, you know, just in terms of, you know, be able to show the kids out there, the young girls out there, you know, look, you know, we can do it, you can do it, but just, you know, just describe that, like, you know, what, you know, because I'm sure that, you know, probably weighs on you as well.
Yeah, I think that it's kind of crazy how far everything has come, and you definitely got to pay thanks to the people who came before you, and you just got to keep getting better, because you want to make it better for everybody who's going to play after you. Like this past summer, I had the opportunity to play for the USL Women's League. It's a semi-pro league, and they just started. It was the inaugural season this past year, and I got to play for Morris Elite. It was a club that just started up the semi-pro team, and that whole experience was amazing. Just seeing how quickly they could throw together a women's league, and then the amount of young girls who came, even for ball girls, and just to watch. It was crazy how something could come together so quick and get so much support. But it was really uplifting to see how many girls came and showed up, because they're going to be the future.
Yeah, I think it's really important that you kind of look at what steps people took in front of you and ahead of you, and kind of taking your own in a way too, so that you can lead for the future of even not just soccer, but women's sports in general. You kind of look up to those role models, and you see, and you're like, you want to be like them, but what steps can you take to kind of make your own path a little different and lead for example? So yeah,
no, well said. I think there are a lot of women that broke those barriers, that set that example, and then, as you said, being able to follow in their footsteps, and again pave new roadmaps for younger kids out there. And that leads to my next question before you guys get the final word here. What is your message? What is your advice for those younger kids and athletes out there? Because it's much different now, like in terms of how competitive it's out there. I mean, really, to separate yourself from the rest of the competition, it's no walk in the park. I mean, again, you have to really just be fully invested and, give it 120%. I mean, that there's so much that is there to unpack, but I'm wondering what you would say to them if they were watching, they're going to watch this video at some point.
It definitely something that our parents have told us growing up is just have fun, because when you have fun, you try your hardest, you give your best, it all just comes naturally.
Yeah, and consistently keep putting in that work, because you'll see results. If you don't see them early on, you'll see them later. So
yeah, then one of the quotes that stuck with me throughout my whole high school journey was, it's a battle against the man in the mirror. Social media is a big thing nowadays, and you see all these people or Twitter posting like their 600-pound bench press or whatever. You can't focus on that and compare yourself to other people, because you're your own person. It's relentless determination to get to the spot you want to be at.
One more. I'm wondering, the first time you guys, actually played into the game, took the field for the first time, what was that moment for all three of you? Just like, I had to ask you.
So my first football game, honestly, don't remember where it was or anything. The only thing I remember is me running to the end zone, pulling up my pants because they were too big on me, and then having to go after. My mom brought down a smaller pair of pants, and I put them on. But it's always just been, I always looked up in the stands and saw my family there to support me.
Yeah. No, for me, it was kind of just like I said, I wasn't expecting to kind of continue through this path with soccer, but walking out on that field, it was kind of like, I felt like I was in almost my sister's shoes, and I really enjoyed it. I fell in love with the game almost immediately as soon as I touched the ball for the first time. So yeah.
I think that my biggest thought was probably like, don't mess up. You don't want to be or something dumb like that. But it's just been an awesome experience and ride so far.
Yeah. I mean, I asked you about your parents. I'm wondering extended family as well, because I think, I'm not to say that your parents, I mean, they I'm sure did everything for you guys, practices, games, being there in attendance. I mean, that had to, just to hear that, from them and that support. I'm wondering, even with the extended family, just to have that village. I mean, I think for all three, I'm sure that really, as said, just to have that extra adrenaline, have that extra energy, carried you guys through. Just talk about that.
Yeah, no, it definitely takes a village. One of our uncle, Uncle Steve, he played football at Villanova, and he's also one of our biggest supporters. He's at every single game pretty much that he can be at. Not you so much since you're in Florida, but he's one of our biggest supporters. He's always trying to do the right thing for us, always putting us in the best positions. He's just that's 100%.
Yeah, and especially now, even just like having the technology, like you said earlier, is great, because being in Florida, I get to live stream my games though, and I just get texts after my games like, great play, I saw this, just from extended family members, just because we get to share that link, and then I still can share my game with my family being really far away. So it's great.
I know.
Yeah. And our dad being one of 7 kids, we have we have cousins who play sports too, and just growing up hearing about how well they're doing and all their successes, it just makes us want to work.
Yeah, I have the utmost respect. I mean, the fact that you're in Florida, I mean, it's just not easy, to make that move. I mean, I just again, commend you on that. But that's terrific. All right, guys, you get the final word and message. This is your time. This is giving you this platform, and can't thank you enough. What your final word and message for family, friends, teammates, coaches, teachers, the community. Whatever comes to your mind, I wanted to give, you guys that opportunity to say it again.
Thank you, and beat Army.
Oh my God.
Beat Navy.
Yeah. I mean, I'm in the middle, so I really don't know what to say here. No, I say honestly, just like keep working and just make sure you say thank you to everyone in your life, whether it's family, friends, coaches, even through like the hard times you've had with maybe even differences you've had with coaches, teammates, families, like still thank them because they're the ones that are helping you get pushed through and become a better player. So yeah.
Well said. Hey, Lili, Abby, Matt, just an incredible honor and privilege, being able to speak with all 3 of you. As I said, I can't think of another interview, I said where I've done this, but it's just, I thank you for the opportunity again, and congrats on your success. There's more to come, looking forward to seeing what you guys do, of course, here in 2023, and just keep up the great work.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.